Thank you to the witnesses for being here today. And first of all, I just want to begin by saying to Mr. Goldwayne, thank you for foot-stomping the need for Congress to do its, in my opinion, duty in terms of protecting the currency and the full faith and credit of our government by increasing the debt limit. We did it 3 times during the Trump administration to the tune of $8 trillion. Some people like me weren't thrilled about voting for that because it was a way of covering the deficit that the Trump tax cut created. But again, our duty is to protect the currency and the full faith and credit of our country and not use that lever as a way to create budgets. That is a totally separate and distinct process for Congress to engage in. I'd like to talk a little bit, I'll get off my soapbox. I'll talk for a minute about ways that the Biden administration is actually fixing the student loan system. And I want to use 2 specific examples. The first is the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. I was here in 2007 when Congress, by a bipartisan large majority, passed the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program as part of the College Cost Reduction Act that was signed into law by a Republican president, George W. Bush. Again, it said that people who serve in our military, who are police officers, teachers, nurses in nonprofit hospitals, who pay and stay current for 10 years on their student loans should be eligible for discharge. Fast forward to 2017, the DeVos Department of Education utterly butchered that program by creating totally gratuitous bottlenecks and barriers for people who had, again, followed the rules for 10 years and submitted their applications for discharge. Again, I'd like to ask Mr. Gadkarki, the reforms that Secretary Cardona has put into place, which is to basically untangle, again, for borrowers, the ability to count those 10 years of current activity has in fact finally started to get those discharges that people earned and relied on in terms of career choices to actually take place. And I was wondering if you could comment on that.
Well, Representative, what we see happening right now is that as the administration prepares to transition us back into student loan repayment, it's been important to make targeted fixes to a number of these programs that have been plagued by servicing inconsistencies for 5, 10, 15 years that are all reflected in the stock of student debt. And so with PSLF, we saw the administration act to address some of those past servicing errors to give students the credit they deserve as they begin to prepare to transition us back into repayment.
And one example of that, because I represent a district with a military base, 10,000 sailors up in Groton, Connecticut, what the Biden administration did was allow, again, our service members who are deployed and out of country to account those months of deployment towards their discharge, again, which the prior administration, the prior Department of Education refused to do for people who are wearing the uniform of our country. Again, the latest statistics in terms of what the Biden reforms have accomplished is that 450,000 borrowers have had their loans properly discharged according to law, and it has resulted in savings of $31 billion. And as we deal with workforce issues in critical parts of public service, getting that credibility back in this program, I think, is going to help our military, our police departments, our education systems. The other is the IDR program that I wanted to talk about, the income-driven repayment. Getting rid of the negative amortization, which is really the monster in our student loan system, where you end up with more interest than what you started out with. Again, maybe you could talk again about the benefits of the Biden rule to avoid, again, that interest sort of metamorphosis or mushrooming on borrowers.
Thank you, Representative. One of the aspects of the IDR plan that's really important to highlight is the end of the ballooning balances, what our colleagues at the Education Trust call Jim Crow debt, because the black borrowers who had it could never see the end of it. It's important to note with IDR that it's still the case that those who make more pay more, but it's an important safety net for borrowers who otherwise wouldn't have affordable payments.
Thank you. And again, the IDR program was also part of the bipartisan College Cost Reduction Act. I yield back.
Thank you. I now recognize for 5 minutes Mr. Thompson.